Magnus Hale was known across the tech world as the king with no conscience. As the CEO of Apexion Tech, he built an empire out of ruthless decisions, cold calculations, and an obsession with control. Magnus valued power more than people, precision more than compassion, and profits far more than the lives affected by his company's shortcuts. Apexion had grown into a giant, but beneath all the growth was a truth Magnus refused to see. Cheap servers, manipulated user data, ignored security risks. Everything that saved money was acceptable to him. Everything that hurt people was invisible. One late night, Magnus stood in his glass office high above the city, admiring the glowing skyline as if it belonged to him. The world below was alive, buzzing, full of people whose lives he never cared to understand. His eyes traced the slow-moving traffic, when suddenly all the screens in his office flickered, then went completely black. "What the?" Magnus snapped, tapping his keyboard. A line of white text appeared on the dark monitor. "Hello, Mr. Hale." Magnus froze. No one could breach his systems, not without triggering alarms, not without his security team getting notified. But the cameras had gone offline. The biometric locks were dead. Even the emergency override had failed. Footsteps echoed behind him. Magnus turned. Aria Voss, the elusive, highly classified cybersecurity director of Apexion Tech. People inside the company joked that she was a ghost, present everywhere, seen by no one. Her reputation was built on brilliance, discretion, and an unsettling ability to make even Magnus nervous. And tonight, she stood in front of him with the kind of calm that precedes a storm. "Your empire just collapsed," Aria said quietly, forcing confidence into his voice. "You can't shut down my systems." Aria tossed a USB stick toward him. He caught it automatically. "That," she said, "contains every piece of evidence needed to end your career. Illegal data tracking, unapproved biometric storage, manipulated user records. Everything you took just to save money." Magnus felt something he rarely felt: fear. "You're sending me to prison?" he asked. "No," Aria replied. "Prison would be too easy for you." Magnus narrowed his eyes. "What do you want?" Aria stepped closer, her voice firm but controlled. "I'm offering you a different kind of sentence. You will work at Apexion's lowest-level help desk for 1 full year. Minimum wage, no CEO privileges, no office, and no special treatment." Magnus stared at her. "You're joking." "I'm not," she said. "You will fix the very problems your greed created, and if you refuse, tomorrow morning every news station in the country will receive the evidence." Magnus knew she wasn't bluffing. He swallowed hard. "Fine, I accept." 1 week later, Magnus Hale walked into the basement-level room of Apexion Tech, the help desk, a place he had never visited in his entire career, a place with flickering lights, old computers, dusty manuals, and the smell of overheated wires. Employees whispered around him, "Is that really Magnus Hale? No way the CEO is down here. What did he do to piss off Aria Voss?" Magnus ignored the whispers and sat in front of the old PC assigned to him. The screen loaded slowly, displaying a queue filled with customer problems, 42 complaints waiting. The first call connected with a harsh beep. "Your stupid app crashed. I lost all my files." Magnus checked the code, and there it was, one of his shortcuts. Cheap servers that couldn't handle heavy traffic, which he approved to save money. For the first time, the consequences of his decisions stared him directly in the face. He worked silently for hours, fixing the bug. And as he worked, something inside him shifted. The coming weeks were no easier. Magnus was frustrated, irritated, and humiliated. But slowly, something unexpected happened. His anger softened, his tone changed. The basement wasn't just punishing him, it was exposing him to the real world. One night, an elderly woman called, her voice trembling. my husband passed away last year. All our memories were in your app. Please, can you recover them?" Magnus felt silence fill his chest. He worked the entire night, searching backup files, patching corrupted data, repairing everything manually. At dawn, he restored the photos. The woman cried in relief. "Bless you, son. You brought him back to me." Magnus stared at the screen long after she hung up. An emotion he hadn't felt in years warmed his chest. Humanity. Aria monitored his progress daily. She reviewed his call logs, notes, and fixes. She noticed a change long before Magnus accepted it in himself. One day, she visited the basement. Magnus looked at her coldly. "Here to check if I'm failing." "No," Aria said. "Here to see if you're actually changing." Magnus paused. "And?" Aria studied him for a moment. "You are. More than I expected." For the first time, Magnus didn't feel defensive. In her eyes, he saw something he'd never earned before: respect. One night, Apexion faced a full-scale cyberattack. Hackers tried to break through every firewall. Panic spread through the building. Systems began failing. Aria coordinated the defense, but it wasn't enough. Magnus ran to her. "Give me access." Aria frowned. "You? Magnus? This could destroy everything if you make a mistake. I built this architecture. Let me protect it. Let me fix what I broke." Aria hesitated for several seconds, then granted him access. Magnus worked like a different man, focused, determined, relentless. He traced the attack, patched the vulnerabilities, rewrote firewalls, built countermeasures, and fought off the hackers for 6 straight hours. At 4:13 a.m., the system flashed. Intrusion blocked. Aria stared at the screen, then at Magnus. "You saved us," she whispered. Magnus exhaled deeply. "I wasn't trying to save the company. I was trying to save the people I hurt." Aria's expression softened, more than ever before. 1 year later, Magnus stood in front of Aria again. She placed the folder on the desk. "Congratulations, your sentence is complete." Magnus nodded. "Do I go back to being CEO?" Aria shook her head. "Only if you lead differently. Power without humanity is just destruction." Magnus stepped closer. "And what do you think I should do?" Aria held his gaze. "I think you've become the man this company actually needs." Magnus extended his hand. "Then rebuild it with me, together." Aria hesitated only a moment before placing her hand in his. "Together," she said. In that simple word was trust, respect, and the beginning of something neither of them expected. Apexion Tech rose again, not on greed, not on fear, but on responsibility. Magnus Hale, once feared as a ruthless king, became a leader with purpose. And Aria Voss became the compass that guided him back to humanity.